of the Hands On Gaming podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Daz, and with me, my good friend, Brendan. How are you, mate?
I'm great as usual. Thanks a lot. How are you?
Doing all right. Again, I'm just getting I'm a bit under the weather, but I'll get there. So,
Dude, you're always beat up with these things.
Always beat up. Always. So yeah, no, I'll get there. But we got another guest on. How cool is that, eh? It's pretty
very
good.
Cool.
It's very cool. We have Matt from Gears of Games, from all the way from Sweden. How are you, mate?
Hey,
welcome.
I'm not going to promote the new ABBA album because I'm pretty sure everyone's fed up with that by now. So I'm not going to mention it. Oh shit! I just. Oh well.
How you doing, mate? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Even though it's quite late here, I'm a night person. I could do this all night.
Yeah, well, it's like AM, isn't it, on a Sunday morning?
Yeah, it's about 12 o'clock at night here. So
yeah, that's all right. It's just the night's just started, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, thanks for having me back again. I'm like a rerun of Emmerdale Farm. I just keep coming back to your podcast. Thank you.
Well, this is the first time on this one.
Yes, to be fair,
Yes,
but
yeah.
I mean,
I
about
think-
the Arcade Perfect one then.
Yeah, twice. I think you're on that one. I think
Yeah.
twice or three times. I don't know. I
You
can't
never get
remember.
rid of me.
Nah, you just hang around. Nah, it's a pleasure, mate. It's a pleasure, and
Thank you.
we appreciate the hard work that goes into these shows too, that you contribute. So, thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm
Yeah,
trying my
appreciate you staying up so late to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's fine. I would have been up anyway, I'm pretty sure, because I had a cup of coffee like 48 million hours ago, and I can't fall asleep when I drink coffee. So that's fine.
He's probably listened to the ABBA album like 4 times already. So,
I'm gonna have to admit I haven't even listened to it once, but I'm sure it's amazing.
oh jeez, you're amazing.
My word for
Yeah.
it.
Oh jeez, a ramble. Man. Okay. The game that the
We're
public
talk
chose.
about ABBA, right?
Yes,
Not
that's
games,
right.
I hope.
Okay, where was I? What was I? Yes, yeah. The game that the public did choose for this one was Stunt Car Racer, and this was one of Brendan's choices. And you know what? It was like, yeah, I was more than happy still to do this. I absolutely love this game. I've got a lot of memories with this game. If you want,
Yes.
I'll just start quickly with my memories quickly. Yeah, it was one of the games I got from Dodgy Dave from down the street. It was it wasn't something I bought, and you know what? Even if I bought it, I would have been happy to buy this because it was a great game. This obviously on the C64. It was just it always amazed me how just how great it plays. I was like, this is 3D. This is great. And, in something like the C64 could push out something like this. So I just loved it. Brendan, did you have any good memories with this on any platform?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I also got mine from Dodgy Dave. I didn't have an original. And, man,
He
the
gets
first time I
around.
loaded this up, he
Yeah.
gets around,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Many countries, that man. Anyway, he, the first time I loaded this thing up, I couldn't believe how fast it ran and how smooth it was. I'd just been playing hard driving in the arcade. I think this was like 1990. And then I played this on my C64, and I feel it's just as good, even better than the hard driving arcade. And I always used to invite people around to show this game off. This was the game I loaded up first, and they couldn't believe it. They were like, "What? This is better than hard driving, man!" Because you can you can do the massive ramps and go crazy. And yeah, it's amazing. I have such good memories. Played this so much with friends.
So you
Obviously
you had it
the
on DOS as
C64
well?
version.
But didn't you say you played on
yeah.
DOS as well?
Yeah, I played it on DOS a couple of years later. That's just because I got a PC in probably 92, 93, somewhere around there. So then I got this game also. It was, one of those some bootleg discs from some dude. I copied it and I played it also. And yeah, pretty good.
I'm sure his name was Dave as well.
Yes.
Dave Senior, maybe.
Yeah, Dave Senior.
Well,
Yeah.
What are you, Matt?
Great memories.
Any history?
Enough. Yeah, actually, I do have a little bit of history, and the supplier was indeed Dave. So yeah, he does get around that guy. And I got it for my Atari ST, and I remember having heard about the game and having maybe a little bit too high expectations. So I was like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome." And initially, it was really cool. The 3D was really cool and smooth for the time, but I guess I'm just a reckless driver. I can't. The car is like it's made from paper, and someone poured gasoline on it, and I'm driving in hell, and everything I do just breaks the damn thing. It just kind of, I just could not get along with this game. I just kept driving too fast and just going wee, because that was actually more fun than winning the races. So I never really got into it, and I can see why people think it's great, but I didn't really, not really my kind of thing. I don't really like racing games. I'm more like a dodgy driver. That's kind of my thing. Carmageddon. That's kind of my kind of racing game. So it's not a favorite of mine, but it is very impressive. I was blown away by it technically, absolutely.
Well, I hope playing all these versions gave you a bit of more appreciation for it, and hopefully you enjoyed it a little bit more. But we'll find out at the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll find out.
All right, cool. All right, let's just give this game a bit of history here. Okay, so yes, it's Stunt Car Racer, and it was developed by Jeff Crammond, and it was published in 1989 by Microprose under the Microstyle and Microplay labels in the United Kingdom and in the United States, which is called Stunt Track Racer there. Why would they change it? Yeah, it's strange.
Oh man, they always change it.
Always have to do different. Always be different.
It sounds cooler.
Yeah,
No, it doesn't.
it doesn't. No. Also, it was released later on the Budget Kicks label. Jeff Crammond's prior games were Revs and Revs 2 on the BBC Micro, and they critically acclaimed the Sentinel. Like it's crazy how different they are. I didn't.
So different.
Yeah, I didn't really get into the Sentinel. I liked Returns, the one on the PC and PlayStation 1. I just found it's just smoother. It just is smoother, but But I think Jeff loved his 3D, so I guess that's where it was a natural progression for him to do something like Stunt Car Racer, if that makes sense.
I love the first Sentinel on the Atari ST, at least. I had a lot of fun with that, but it was a very quirky game.
It's very different.
Very, very strange.
It's strange. I think once you learn how to play it, it is amazing.
Yeah.
It's very tricky to get your head around, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't have a manual either, and I just remember trying every key on the keyboard and trying to figure out, and I eventually kind of got it working, and I actually played it a fair amount. And I think I had some help from some reviews, you get kind of clues to what to do. So but it was a bit of almost as much a challenge trying to figure out how to play the game as to actually play the game, if you know what I mean.
That's true, yeah.
It might be a game we could look at in the future. It's going to take a lot of. I think it's going to take a lot of work to get to review that one. But okay. Anyway, back to Stunt Car Racer. The game involves racing on a roller coaster type tracks against one other racer. It's just in single player or multiplayer link up, which we will talk about later. There is a practice mode and racing season, which puts you up against other cars. Just try not to stray off the track, otherwise you'll fall to your doom and cause damage to your car. Jeez, mate. Did that give me anxiety when that would just fall off? It's like, oh no. And then you know that the computer opponent's is going to just pass you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're done. You're done.
Yeah, you're done. It's hard to get back after that. There is a damage display. It's across the top of your car. And you also have like a turbo. And you just don't use too much of it because it does run out. You get like 30 litres of, I don't know, of a boost, you could say. And it's very easy to overshoot your car over the edge, especially when you're using the boosts. You have to, when turning those corners, you just have to be a bit more gentle. Look, the aim of the game is to complete the racing season. So, look, there's not much to it in story-wise or anything like that. You've got other opponents who all got their fancy names and all that kind of thing. But it's just fun. I actually love this game. It's just, I think it's aged well. The game was also ported over to the Atari XE by Fandel and the BBC Micro later by Team Bit Shifters. So
BBC Micro, really?
yeah.
Wow.
I think you need
Didn't
extra
know that.
RAM. I think you need extra RAM or something to run that. I don't know.
Right.
I don't have much information on those two, but yeah, they're like homebrew ports. They only came out in the last few years.
Somebody also did a homebrew port for a Windows version.
Oh, really?
I just took a quick look at it because we weren't going to review it, but it runs fast, but I think it runs way too fast. It takes away the whole feeling of the game. But anyway, there's also a Windows version.
I know that they're releasing a remake of this now. I think it's
Yeah.
So hopefully that comes through. So
All right.
and that's it. That's Stunt Car Racer. So we'll get started with the reviews. Hey, who wants to go first? Who wants to put their hand up? Even though I can't see hands.
I can go first.
All right, cool. All right, you pick the system, my friend.
Yeah, I'll say we just start on the 8-bits, I guess,
cool.
and we'll work our way up.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll start with the Spectrum.
Okay, cool.
Spectrum, I played the 128K version. I don't know if there's any other version, but that's what I played. And this is another Spectrum game that completely surprised me. It ran really well, this game. It ran really fast. A little bit slower than some of the other 8-bit versions, but still really nice. Colors are pretty great. It doesn't suffer from the usual Spectrum color clash deal, which happens so often. And sound effects are okay. They definitely not as good as some of the other versions. Not as beefy, a little bit tinny. But the controls are nice. I played this with the keyboard, obviously, and I thought it was pretty accurate. When you get a little bit higher, when you get a little bit faster, it gets a little bit sluggish. But besides that, it plays really well. It's quite impressive. I think it got really good reviews back in the day. I took a look at a few of the, I think it was a Crash review. I'm not sure if that was it, but anyway, got good reviews, and it's a really great version of this game.
Yeah, I was impressed with it too. I was quite surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mats, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. It's an impressive version, actually. And, the Z80 was a bit more suited for the 3D stuff.
Yeah, it
so
was.
Should be pretty decent. But, of course, the color problem and all that doesn't make it any easier. But I think they resolved that very well. It's a bit of a shame that you didn't get any in-game graphics in the 128K version, like the cutscenes. They hadn't really attempted to make anything like that. Presentation as such was very simple, but very clean, worked well. It was also, I would say, a bit easy. I think I won my first race, which, being me, is bloody amazing. So I was like, "What? I won? What the hell is this?" I was just surprised. So yeah, it seems to be the opponent seems to be more crap than the other versions. If I could beat the computer controlled car. What else is there to say? Let me check my notes. It also seems like the Spectrum version is slightly less sensitive to damage, which I approve of. It wasn't as bad as the 16-bit version, where I can't touch anything without putting a dent in my car, or whatever the problem might be. And yeah, sound effects were pretty much like the SD version, I think. Nothing too outstanding. I mean, sound effects on most versions were pretty basic, and the Spectrum did.
I've got them here. I've got the specky sound here.
Oh, yeah.
It's what you'd expect.
Yeah, pretty standard.
Standard, yeah. It's okay.
Did anyone play the 48K version, if there is one? I'm not sure.
No. I went 128 as well.
Yeah, same here. So maybe there isn't a 48K version. I don't know. Maybe they need the extra memory, because I think it was a single load as well. So
yeah, that's a good thing too.
Yeah.
I like that they had the track map available too. You could just check out the track and turn it around very slowly, but it worked. So that was good. Pretty impressive.
Cool. All right.
So, overall, a good version.
Nice.
I think Jeff Crammond, who did the Spectrum version as well, right? Who did? Didn't he almost make all the versions, Crammond?
I don't know.
He was involved with a bunch of them. I'm not sure which ones are.
Yeah, I'm uncertain, but his name kept popping up on every single one, like code and conversion, and so probably was involved somehow. So that's pretty impressive.
It'd probably have to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right. I'll go with my my little review. I thought the presentation was okay. Nice loading screen. HUD graphics were okay.
Oh yeah. Very nice.
What can I say? Yeah, the HUD graphics are okay. They're a little plain, but no color clash. Sound was very average, but I thought it did the job. Game runs at a great pace, and it feels nice and zippy. I just found it moved really, really smooth. I really, really liked it. The highly playable. I thought it was a great port. Man, you would have loved this back in the day. And I really loved how smooth it was. You can tell that, its processor is just a little bit more catered to the wireframe 3D graphics over like C64, for example, and it shows in this game. I just found that it ran really smooth. I really liked it. I thought it was great port. So there we go. That's with the Specky. So all round thumbs up for that one.
Yeah.
I'll start with the next one. I'll go C64. This is the one I grew up with. I thought nice title screen. Okay presentation. HUD graphics I think they look fantastic. The car looks great in this one. It looks really, really nice. Sound is fine. This is the sound. It's got a deeper. Has like a deeper. Sounds like a real engine. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's real beefy. It's real beefy, really beefy sound. I really like that. It does get ear piercing when you're flying in the air and got your revs up a bit. It's got that me. It's like, oh man, it goes through your skull. So yeah, controls are great. They're a bit less sensitive, I found, after playing the others, comparing. Even though it's a 3D wireframe, it moves. I think it moves great. It's a great accomplishment for the C64 to make a game run in the wireframe 3D to run as well as it does on the C64, and it's highly playable. It's a great game. Look, I don't think it's as smooth as the Specky version, but it still plays unbelievably. So yeah. Thumbs up for me.
You thought they were slower. I actually thought that the 64 versions ran smoother than the Spectrum version.
No.
But maybe there was something wrong with my emulation, because I did run it in standard 64 mode, but it was very, very smooth. Maybe I forgot it, like in, you have that mode where you can fast forward.
Maybe.
Because I was like, wow, this is really impressive. I was like blown away by it.
It is. It's very smooth. It's very smooth, but I just find that it's not as smooth as the Specky.
I thought it was a little bit smoother than the Spectrum, to be honest.
Yeah,
clearly, that's what I felt.
Well, I played on real hardware. I don't know. I played on real hardware, so I don't know.
I think I may have screwed up the emulator there. Actually,
did you play on real hardware, Brendan?
No, I just played. I just played it through emulation. I didn't put it on any turbo or anything, but I played this game a lot. Yeah, back in the day, so got a good feel for it.
Okay, well, all right, you go next then. That's strange. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, this was the one I played also back in the day as a kid, and I loved this game. I played it so much, ridiculous amount, and I liked the sound effects are, like we just said, they're a lot more beefier. They feel more like a real car kind of deal. I also like the sound effects when you crash, when you go off the track and that. I thought they were really nice and beefy. It really felt like you were just getting smashed up. The graphics they're really fast and fluid. I felt anyway. I totally get what you say about. You say the Spectrum one feels a little bit smoother. It's definitely more defined. If when you look at it, the C64's graphics a little bit more chunky in that vector style. But I don't know. I felt it went a little bit faster. That's just my opinion. I don't really know. They could be the same, really, or the Spectrum could be faster. C64 one just felt faster to me, and Also, like I felt like the weight of the car just feels a little bit more chunky in this version. Like when you hit those ramps and you land, it just feels a little bit more like something's hitting hard. The Spectrum and Amstrad version, it feels a little bit less like your car's hitting. It's a little bit more like it's just getting cushioned in. The C64 one really felt like it's getting smashed when it lands. You know what I mean? Like it's really that hard,
that crunch.
Yeah, that hard crunch. It felt more like realistic. Presentation is great. I love the color, the look of the car. Like you said, Daz, it looks fantastic. I love the way it looks. And this for me is my favorite 8-bit version. But that does have a lot of nostalgia thrown in there, so take that with a grain of salt. But I just really love this version.
Nice one, Mats.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the most fun of the 8-bit versions, and I actually enjoyed it more than the 16-bit versions. But keep in mind, I think I did screw up the emulator because mine was surprisingly smooth. I was like, "There's no way a 64 can run this smoother than the Spectrum, really," but definitely did. So I think I screwed that up somehow. But yeah, I mean, even if it isn't, it's still a good version, I think. I do like the sound effects as well. Only thing I miss, music. Please give me some Commodore, some sweet SID music. Great.
That would have been good.
Yeah, it's a bit surprised that I didn't get any music. And also love the title menu with the car on top. The graphics, they were very well done for Commodore 64 low res mode. Very well done. A well use of color. And also the opponent was not as evil as in the 16-bit version, so I liked that. But again, I probably screwed up the emulator, but so
thumbs up?
That's kind of my take on that. Yeah, definitely thumbs up. And even if it would have been slower, I would thumb this one up.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to find a bad one out of all these, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
This is one of those rare games. I'm probably wrecking it for the other versions, but it's one of those rare games where it's good on every platform. It's very strange.
It's very rare for that to happen.
Yeah.
It is.
Especially when we're going to talk about the next one, Amstrad CPC.
Yeah.
Go, Mats. You can start on this one, seeing that we started on the other two.
This one I think I got right. It's pretty much the Spectrum version. Maybe slightly slower, which is kind of surprising because they do have the same CPU, so I can't imagine that they rewrote this. But yeah, surprisingly a bit slower. Otherwise, similar gameplay. It looks pretty nice, a bit more blocky. I think it's running in Amstrad low res mode, right? But I like the colors. It's pretty nice looking there. Definitely looks a bit better than the Spectrum version, but still very simple. Still kind of suffers from the same problem that I didn't mention before as the Spectrum and also the 64 to an extent. You can't see very far. You kind of get that pop-in thing. It's kind of... It doesn't always show you the same length forward. How should I put it? It's kind of...
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit sometimes like, oh, what's going on? Why can't I see beyond? I used to be able to see further away, but it's just a minor niggle, and all 8-bit versions suffer from that pretty much, in the 16-bit versions to an extent as well. So, it's a good version. And one interesting thing, though, when you crash, or I think when you stop the race, the wheels keep spinning.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that. Okay.
I didn't see that.
But it's otherwise... Maybe the worst of the 8-bit versions, some maybe on the same level as the Spectrum, I would probably say. So, yeah, good stuff. Absolutely.
Brendan?
Thumbs up.
Yeah. No, this is a good version. I totally agree. It's pretty much almost the same as the Spectrum one. The graphics aren't as colorful as the usual CPC game, but they're still really good. The vector graphics are nice. It runs at a good pace. Sound effects are again a little bit tinny, but still decent.
I've got the effects here.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like that.
Nothing too exciting, but it's
And,
doing the job. Yeah.
Yeah, it's doing the job. It's, the usual car sounds from 80s games, pretty much. And it plays well. It moved at a good pace. I got nothing really terrible to say about this game. I think it's just an equally good version.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the C64 one's vastly superior, but it's not a bad game at all. If you had an Amstrad and you had this game, I think you'd be very, very happy. And it's a good version.
Yeah, I totally agree. Total Screen, though, I thought was very average. It was lazy. To me, this feels like a version mixed between the C64 and Specky, because I think graphics are more C64, but it moves or sounds more like the Specky version. I know it's kind of like the bastard child of those two versions.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. I thought screen area was a little bit smaller. But look, it plays great, runs at a great pace, and to be honest, I was very surprised. I was very, very surprised. It just shows that, if you've got a good programmer behind a computer, you can do a good game, no matter how limited or powerful a platform is. If you want to make a good game and take your time, you can do it.
Yeah, it seems like they focused really on the gameplay aspect of the 8-bit version. They didn't really add any flashy stuff. It's just like, let's try and get this right, and let's not throw any bells and whistles.
Yeah.
So I do like that. Prefer that to, we got a fancy cutscene. It would have been nice, but it's not important.
It's a good example of that. Final Fight, sorry. Final Fight, you could say as well. And Street Fighter 2 on the ZX Spectrum. They made it look like Street Fighter 2, but it's not playable.
Which game was that? Sorry.
Street Fighter 2 on the Spectrum.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was just a screenshot game.
That's exactly right. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The damn thing.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, that's 8 bits. So we'll go on to the 16 bits. These are the powerhouses now. If you want, I can go first. I'll go with the Amiga. Now, I played this back in the day. My friends had the Amiga versions. It's funny, like, I was a little envious, but I was still happy to go home to my C64 version. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
It wasn't that bad. So I thought it runs super smooth. Has like the character pictures of your opponents between races, and controls are so nice. Sound is great, nice and beefy. I really like the sound on the Amiga. That sounds great. How cool is that? It's got that typical Amiga. Oh, hear that crank, 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 crank. You know when you hear that noise, something's wrong. But yeah, it's a fantastic port. It's a gorgeous port. I love it. It's so much fun. I mean, there's nothing else you can really much say about it. I mean, besides the extra, you could say like little intermission pictures that you were mentioning before, Matt's, with the pictures, and that when you lose, there's like a picture of like when you've lost, and etc. No, but it's great fun. Absolutely great fun. I think what appeals to me the most about the Amiga version is the sound. I think it has the best sound of all the ports.
Yeah.
Thumbs up for me. But it's still not my favorite port. Yeah. Who would like to go next?
Well, I'll go next for the Amiga.
Yep.
Yeah, like you said, the sound on the Amiga is the best. It's by far the best sound. I loved all the little sound effects. The Amiga sometimes goes overboard with its sampled sound effects and can be kind of annoying sometimes. But I think for this time, they really used it subtly, and it really works well. Like even like the sound of like the wheels going down, there's that slight little crunchy sound. And there's a lot of tiny little sound effects that they added in this version, which I really love. It makes a big difference, even though it's just tiny little things. It just gives that atmosphere. Speed and graphics are fantastic. I just love it. It runs really smooth and fast. For me, the ST version and the Amiga one, it's really hard to tell them apart when it comes to the the graphics in terms of speed. They're very much the same almost. I played this game. I did get to play this game in the 90s. It was actually set up at a computer shop. that I used to go to all the time, and the guys always had this game set up. It must have been set up there for months. So I used to go there buy like C64 games. So I would play Stunt Car Racer every time I went there on the Amiga. But like you said, I loved it. I couldn't get over how cool it was. But when I went home and played it on my C64, it almost felt like there was no difference. You know what I mean? It was still a damn good game on whichever system you played it on. It just didn't really seem to matter. But yeah, I love this version. It's excellent.
Nice one. Mats.
Yeah, I can pretty much say the same thing. It's pretty much like the ST version, and it kind of makes me think that they may have developed the game on the Amiga first and then ported it to the ST, because they run at the same speed. The ST is usually slightly faster, but I couldn't really feel any difference. And yeah, maybe I'm just imagining it, but and also the graphics were the same, so yeah, they hadn't really made any use of the extra colors, I think, on the Amiga, but not that it matters really. But yeah, it's a great version again, and the sound effects are, as they should, of course, they are better than the SD version. So yeah, no surprises there. It's kind of nice to see that they actually took the time to make that improvement. Otherwise, very nice frame rate. Feels the same as the ST, so I'm not sure really what to say. I don't think this...
Oh, there's not much more, really. really.
No, beyond the sound, it's the same version. Even frame rate seemed similar.
Cool. All right, well, I'll go straight to the ST version then. I found the ST playing area was a bit bigger. Usually got that big squashed screen. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I kind of noticed the difference as well. Like the Amiga version felt like it was wider for me, and the ST version was a bit more
square.
Pressed in the more square. Yeah, I thought that was me, and my settings were incorrect.
No, that's just the Amiga that just sometimes pushes up from the bottom. It's a resolution, I guess. Look, I found it's the Amiga version, but runs faster and smoother. I just think it runs that little bit quicker. Besides the sound.
The Amiga version.
Sorry.
The Amiga version ran quicker? Or
no, I found the ST version ran a little bit quicker. Little bit quicker. And from what I've read online, it does. Because it just does 3D better than the Amiga. It's got a faster processor.
Yeah, it should be slightly faster. So yeah, maybe I'm just imagining before.
I absolutely love the ST version. It just it just feels like the Amiga one, but I just think it runs just that little bit better. The sound isn't as good, which isn't. It's still fine. I mean, I've got it here. It's AY chip. Nothing too exciting, but it does the job. I mean, it doesn't sound better than that.
No, absolutely not.
No,
but it could have been worse. It could have been far worse.
Yeah. But geez, I think it plays absolutely fantastic. I loved it. I guess Mats could go next because it's his baby.
Oh yeah, my ST. Yeah, this is the version I played back in the day, and yeah, it's pretty much like the Amiga version, and it feels like both the ST and the Amiga version. It seems to be easy to damage your car in these versions. Maybe I just imagined that too, but it seems so easy. Basically, if you just touch anything, the ground. I mean, it's like, oh, damage. I don't know. Did I just dream that, or is it just easy to damage the car?
It is true. I also felt that. The 8-bit versions, it's a lot harder to smash up your car.
Prefer that, and also I think the damage is kept between races. I don't think that happens in the 8-bit versions. Do you remember that?
I don't think it happens in the 8-bit versions. I think it keeps it for the 16-bit ones, though.
Yeah, it's really rather annoying. I'm not sure if you're just supposed to deal with it, and then when you get to next season, it's fixed, because I didn't get very far, so I'm not sure, but I presume it is fixed eventually.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I hope so, because that's kind of my main issue with the game back in the day. The damage model, it was a little bit too punishing, I found, because again, I'm a reckless driver. But not much to say about that. Sound is worse as expected, but not awful. I mean, I've heard some really awful engine sounds on the ST. I mean, oh God. So yeah, it's still decent compared to many other racing games with horrible engine sounds. So yeah, that's pretty much sums it up for me, I think.
Nice one. Brendan.
Yeah, the ST one for me also, it's almost the same as the Amiga. There's slight differences, obviously. I also felt that the Amiga one felt a little bit faster than the ST. I don't know, could be hallucinating, but when I was playing it, that's what it felt like. I don't know, but it's not much of a difference, though, to be honest. If I looked at it.
Yeah. We played all of the games. It all kind of blends together.
Exactly.
It's hard to distinguish. Frame rates.
I mean, if I played this game, a week from now, I might feel the opposite. I might feel the ST version's just slightly faster. But anyway, and the sound effects, yes, it's definitely not as good. It's typical, ST. The Amiga one's always usually sounds better, but it's not bad at all. There's nothing wrong with it. Controls are pretty tight. Just like all the versions. And there's not a lot to say about this one. It's the Amiga one, just not as good, but still it's a really good version of the game. So there's almost nothing to complain about. Yeah.
No, there isn't. But do you know that you can link the Amiga and Atari ST computers and verse each other?
Yes, I read that. I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, you can do that.
Connected STs back in the day. I think we played it on one of the ST conventions we had, but I don't think we ever tried to cross connect.
Yeah, you can. It works. Yeah, it works. I got a friend here, Alex from Weird and Retro, Australian retro gaming website here, and whenever they do their they'll do like gaming nights and that kind of thing at expos. They'll always hook up the Amiga and Atari ST and load up Stunt Car Racer. So it's cool. It's a really cool thing to see that, and how they just link up. See, because they are related. They are related, those two computers. So it's kind of nice to see. Some unity for once.
Yeah, for once it's a perfect game as well. No one has any major advantage. It's just kind of gameplay.
Yeah,
and the same core engine, I assume.
Yeah.
Game engine, I mean.
They say that the ST version has a little bit of an advantage because of the processor. So, but I don't know how that. So I don't know how that affects, playing into the Amiga version, but
I think it syncs to the slowest machine, basically.
Probably,
I think they are syncing the tick or whatever they call it. I'm not a coder. I don't get that stuff, but
it's quite, you could be right though. You could be right. So anyway, now the last one, DOS. He wants to go with the DOS.
I can go with the DOS.
Okay, go with the DOS.
Yeah, I'll go with the DOS. So I did play this one back in the day. Bootleg version, obviously. And it's a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, it's a good game. Graphics overall a little bit bland compared to the Amiga and ST. Although the game runs really fast, and the vector graphics, the whole look of it, and the smoothness is it's like there's a whole lot of more animation frames being thrown in there, and it's extremely smooth. So it looks great. I did notice though that the pop-up is a lot more noticeable in this one as opposed to the Amiga and the ST. Maybe it's because it's concentrating on throwing all those extra frames of animation in. I'm not sure. But damn, is it really smooth. Sound has got the sound almost sounds like a Spectrum version, but that is DOS. DOS sound was horrible back in the day. Terrible. Yeah, and there were some dodgy MIDI effects in there. Just, it's DOS. I've played so many of those games. It sounds like what you would expect from a DOS game. But this one, I played on a keyboard. Actually, I played most of these using keyboard controls. I don't know what you guys played them on, because Yeah, I played this on the keyboard. Actually, I played most of them. I played the Amiga and the C64 with the joysticks, because that's how I originally played them. But everything else I played with a keyboard, and it plays really well. It's very, very accurate if you play on a keyboard as opposed to the joystick. I almost feel like it's a better way to play it, because you can really, you get that accuracy when you're turning corners and that, if you're just, tapping the keys. So that's actually a cool way of playing it if you've never done that way. But yeah, this is a good version. I don't know what I would say, like, out of the 16-bit versions, I guess. I don't know where this one would rank, because it's got a little bit of issues, but overall it's still really playable and really good. So yeah.
Cool. I'll go next. I played this on real hardware, so I was surprised I got it working. I don't know, because I always have trouble getting DOS to work, but this worked straight off the bat, so it was great. I found it has all the bells and whistles of the Amiga and ST ports, but with less color. I don't like the color. It's just
no, same here.
It's that EGA palette. I don't know. Yeah. It just looks like it's rotten. Like it's gone off. It's like it's like a sandwich you leave rotting in the fridge for like weeks.
It's like ripe.
Yeah. It's probably a bit harsh thing to say, but yeah, I mean, look, it still looks okay. But the choice of colors, I don't really like. But damn, does it run smooth? Wow, it's just it feels like 60 frames per second. It's just beautiful. I think it's the most playable out of all the versions for me. The PC sound speaker is not great at all, though. That really does put me off. It's not bad. It's just after playing the Amiga ST versions, or probably Amiga, really, it just doesn't cut it. But again, like all the versions that we've reviewed today, I think it sounds fine. I've actually got sound for it here. Here's the DOS version. Yeah, it's not. It gets under my skin.
Yeah, I reached for the volume button there. Actually.
Yeah.
DOS.
It gets under my skin. I know, maybe because I didn't grow up with DOS, so I was still on the C64. So DOS sound doesn't really hasn't got no nostalgia for me. So look, it might be different for other people. So but all around, I reckon it's a great port. Still.
Yeah.
And I used a control pad. Funny enough, I got a serial Microsoft Sidewinder control pad.
Right.
Yeah.
I had one of those.
Connector, like the Sound Blaster connector or what?
Yeah, it's great. So I put up a picture on our Twitter. You'll see it there. It's it plays great with it. It was awesome. No configuration needed. It just input and bang and done.
Yeah, I used to have one of those. Great controllers.
They are. They're really nice. Okay, and who's now it's you, Mats. Lucky last.
Yeah, that would be nice. Lucky last.
Yeah.
And the buttery smooth frame rate just made me think that I had incorrectly configured my emulator, because I think I set it to automatic cycles, but I don't know exactly what that means. But yeah, it was super smooth, but I think it was hopefully the same experience as for you guys, because it was running super smooth, looking blocky like the 64 a bit, but I mean, that sensation of speed was really, really good. What was a little bit strange, I had some issues with the controls. I had an automatic acceleration. Did you have that too? I couldn't press forward because then the car would start going backwards. I don't know if it was a configuration issue.
I think it was a configuration issue.
Yeah, it must have been, because it was super bizarre. The car was going backwards regardless if I was pushing forward or back. Muy strange. The first thing I did, I just backed off the track full speed and just crashed into the ground. I thought, what is going on? So I had to basically press the space key to get the turbo boost, and then I could just let go of the keys and just steer left and right. It would automatically go forward. Very strange.
Sounds like a mobile game.
Yeah, maybe I was playing the iOS version. But yeah, it was probably just an issue with the emulation. I was using DOSBox X, so yeah, not sure what went wrong there. I also had some issues with falling off the track a few times for no real reason. I was just like falling off, being nowhere near the edge. So again, could be some emulation problems. Did you guys have any issues with that?
Well, not me.
Not really, no.
Must have been the emulation, because I also had some times when I just flew off the track for unknown reasons. I was like, what am I doing? Why am I flying off there? I'm not pressing that direction. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there's something rotten with the settings. But yeah,
DOS can be a pain in the ass sometimes, I think.
Yeah. Especially with the various emulators. I mean, I'm using DOSBox X, which is a variant of DOSBox, and sometimes it runs games perfectly, and other times it just does things that I just don't understand at all. So
that's DOS gaming for you.
It is. Even on a real computer, it could be like that sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
But great version. Pretty bad sound effects, which I think was for me was PC speaker. I didn't get any MIDI sound effects or anything like that. But again, I didn't configure it specifically for maybe what the game wanted. I was just so happy that I got the
it
DOS
working.
version running. Yeah, always running without issues. I'm not going to mess with anything because I'm going to be up all night. So yeah, disclaimer. Problems with the emulation, possibly. Yeah.
Well, look, as far as I know, I think there's only a PC speaker for it because,
there is,
like I said, like I ran it on real hardware, and there was no option to run through Sound Blaster and you know what I mean, MIDI or anything like that. It was just.
Oh, I just thought Brendan said he had some MIDI.
Yeah. Oh well, what I meant like MIDI sounding.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if it was like actual MIDI, like setting.
Yeah. Well, this is what I had.
Anything like that.
I had this exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds familiar.
There's also some other little like sound effects which they put in there though that sounded like just like a MIDI. You know, like just like little beeps now and again. Anyway, that was happening in my game, so that's what I assumed was the MIDI.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to know. I wish you could
DOS gaming.
DOS gaming. That's it.
Yeah, DOS gaming and DOS emulation. It's a crapshoot.
Okay, so what was no point saying what was your worst port because they were all good. Which one was your favorite? If you were to pick one, Matt, you go
I would say the 64 version.
Oh wow. Okay.
I really liked it. I mean, it was surprisingly good. And again, I was surprised that it was just running so well. But again, it could be an emulation thing. But yeah, great version. And I also managed to win a race, which, helps. Otherwise, the PC version would be the best one, I think. Otherwise. But again, it behaved weirdly. So.
Brendan?
Yeah.
What was your favorite?
I mean, well, my favorite's definitely the C64 version. I still enjoyed it the most, even like going back and playing all these other ones. I mean, the Amiga one is fantastic. I really love that. But I don't know, the C64 one just flows for me better. Just gives me a better feeling of the car, like the weight of it, like I said earlier. Yeah, I just love the C64 one the best. The DOS one is great, though. I love those. I love the frames of animation. So smooth. But for me, it still goes back to, just the good old C64. It just delivered for me, especially this version. But all of them are excellent. Really, they all are.
I'm going Atari ST. If I had to, for nostalgia, C64, but if someone said to me, here's all your versions, you can only play one for the rest of your life, I'd probably pick the ST version. I just found that to be the right balance playability-wise. If I know how to, I reckon it's just that little bit better over the Amiga playability. Not sound, but playability. I know, it's funny how we all see things differently, but yeah. I preferred the ST version, funny enough. The most.
It'd be interesting to know on which computer they developed the first version. Maybe it is the ST, but I don't know really. So.
I can maybe quick look. How's that? How's that for research during
Yeah, I'm not sure which version is the actual original. Never really thought about it.
it would make sense to be the ST having the fastest clocked CPU, but again, I really don't know. There could be.
Yeah, I would think the ST or the Amiga were the originals. That's just a guess, though.
Yeah, I can't find anything. It's not. Yeah, it's not something that we can just keep our listeners waiting for me to actually find out. But look, I mean, whoever's listening to this, comment in the, I don't know, in Twitter, in Twitter.
Which we don't have.
Yeah, Twitter,
and Twitter, not Twitter, Twitter. That's what my mate calls Twitter. Twitter. He calls it Twitter. The Twatters. You get
it's accurate. It's accurate.
Yeah, you can comment there, or you can comment on Brendan's post when he releases it later on YouTube. If you know which version was out first, let us know, because I couldn't find anything on that. So yeah, okay, well that's it. That's it for the reviews. Before we head off, Mats, you want to talk about your channel? And mate, you've been pumping out the videos like there's no tomorrow. What's going on?
Yeah, I kind of came back from the summer break, and I had maybe 1.5 month free time and just chilling out and relaxing. So I just felt the energy to get back to making videos. So there's going to be more stuff coming, and of course it's on the Gears of Games channel. If I can do a bit of a shameless plug there.
Of course you can.
Of course.
And I'm actually going to give you the URL because I couldn't do that in the last podcast I did this week because I couldn't remember the bloody thing. It's a little bit complicated, but it's Gears of Games channel. And if you search on YouTube, you're going to find it as well. I actually discovered that I now am actually on the top of the search results if you search for Gears of Games.
Nice.
So that's good. And the URL ends with Gears of Games channel. So yes, now you know that. Please make haste. Don't go over there, or don't. Just do whatever you feel like.
Yeah, no, watch it. Especially that Rambo review you just did. That's hilarious. That's so bad.
Oh, you mean the Super
Rambo? Yeah,
simulator. Yeah, that's a very special MSX game.
Wow,
Super Rambo.
Oh, Brendan, you're going to see this. It's insane. The way these soldiers just throw grenades or rocket launchers at you, like it's insane.
Yeah,
and also,
I've heard about that game. I've never actually seen it though.
It's crazy.
It's pretty interesting.
But you know what makes me laugh? You know what makes me laugh? Like the graphics are horrible. Look, they're not really that good at all. But when you die and you hear that Stallone sample, it's so funny.
Yeah, I know. It's really crackly.
Oh man, I gotta play this now.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, make sure you get a proper MSX BIOS. It won't run on the newer BIOSes that just contain code to run cartridges. You need like a proper MSX, like a Sony or Hitachi or whatever.
Okay.
Because when you run on the C BIOS, it just behaves absolutely bizarre. The enemies throw corpses at you. It's super strange. It's what the hell is going on? It was running fine, kinda, but at the same time doing insane things. So maybe you should try that as well. Could be interesting, I guess.
So do you have any games you could let us know that you're reviewing in the future, or you keep it under wraps?
Future? Well, I mean, I've got a huge Atari ST list, but I'm going to do some more 64 stuff, and you did recommend me a couple of games, so I can't remember them off the top of my head.
Me neither.
Yeah, I'm going to return to that as well, and I'm going to be doing some more MSX stuff, some Atari ST stuff, and hopefully I have an upcoming interview with a graphic artist, the British guy. Hopefully going to happen soon. I haven't heard from him in a bit, but yeah, that's something that's in the works. I'm not going to say who he is, but it's a guy that's been working on the 8-bit and 16-bit systems back in the 80s and 90s. So
awesome.
That's going to be interesting.
That sounds great.
So yeah, I'm trying.
What about you, Brendan? What have you got in the works? I know what you have, but
yeah, you know what I have. I'm still working on this mammoth arcade history video. I've been working on it for a couple months now. The thing just keeps on getting more and more out of control. I've got no control over it at this point. I don't even know. I honestly don't know how long it's going to be. It's going to be a few hours long, which is ridiculous for a video. But it's like I said in the last podcast, it's too late. I've gone too far. I've reviewed about probably 250 games so far for it. And it's just continuing. And I'm only at 1986, which is ridiculous because I'm planning on going to 1999.
Yeah, that's
so
insane.
Anyway,
that is insane.
It is insane. I feel like I'm going mental making this video. But what I'm actually planning, I was going to continue working on it till the end of the month and then release it, but there is no way it's going to be done by the end of the month. So I'm just going to work on it till about the 20th and then put it aside for a bit and go back to regular C64 videos will start popping up again. And then I'll just chip away at it, and hopefully in a month or two that thing will finally be done. But it's going to be epic.
What
at least I hope so.
What? You should maybe release it in decades.
I
know. A lot of people have said that.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why I don't want to release it in decades is simply because it's got like an overall narrative, and it's got also it's not just me talking about the games. I've kind of got guests that are talking about their experiences, and when you cut it up into pieces, you kind of dilute the whole feeling of it.
Right.
If you know what I mean, like you have a little bit of somebody and then you forget about it and you watch the next part a month later and you don't even remember who they are and you don't get that whole cohesive feel of the video. That's the only reason why I don't want to. So the insanity of it, I'm just going to release it as one massive video, and it's going to be a few hours long. So if you can have a lot of coffee and watch that, it's going to be awesome.
A lot of coffee.
Just make sure to give YouTube plenty of time to process that video. That's going to be in the works for a bit.
It's going to be a long upload.
Yeah, and also process, because that takes some time, even with the shorter ones, like 20, 25 minutes. It's like, why is it taking 3 days to process the video?
Wait, really? Are you just joking there, or is that how long something's
No. Sometimes it just gets stuck completely at like 480 or 720. It's like, nope, it won't move. Sometimes I re-upload stuff because it refuses to finish processing.
Oh, really? I haven't really had that issue. Even with long videos, it goes fairly quick. Yeah. It
seems to be like random.
But I know what you mean. Sometimes you load one up and then it just gets stuck at one, like 70% for like 30 minutes. And you're like, what is the problem here?
It's YouTube. What can I say?
YouTube.
Cool.
Anyway.
All right, enough bagging YouTube.
Oh yeah, sorry YouTube, we love you.
Yes,
I don't care. I'm not a YouTuber.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Okay, and with that, thanks everyone that listens in. Thanks for joining us and sticking around for the ride. So again, thank you for all the help that everyone gives us. And with that, we hope you enjoyed the show, and thanks again to Matt for joining us. It's been great.
Thank you for having me again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Go and get some sleep now.
I shall try.
Yep. And with that, adios everyone. Thank you.
Bye bye.